Did metal get too big? Because you had been playing since the 70s, and you had those bands who had sort of been persistent all throughout, and then suddenly around the mid-80s you have every other band sort of trying to get in on the trend.
Yeah.
And did it sort of get too big? Or?
It just got too diluted. You know, everyone thought that they could be that, and all the good ones had almost gone away by that time. You know, Zeppelin was really not doing much of it anymore, and let's face it, they and Purple created all of that, especially, you know, especially those two bands. And I think they became just didn't want to do it anymore. You know, for them it was, they wanted to do other things. In Richie's case, we went on, we did Rainbow, but that was in the same era. I mean, hell, that was 75, so we're talking well before that. But I think all the good bands went away, and they were just repopulated by people who didn't have a clue what it was supposed to be about, because what we wrote was music. We were proud to write music. I mean, those are great musicians. Guys like John Paul Jones, drummers like John Bonham, guitar players like Richie Blackmore. I mean, the list goes on and on. I could mention others. I don't mean to keep being stuck in those people, but you know, guys in Judas Priest, people who were really good at what they did, who wrote things because they cared about the music that they were writing, and they were writing things that were not just three-chord music. It was, in the case of Rainbow, we really wanted to be more of a classical kind of band who wrote heavy things. And then when those people went away, the ones that populated it after that really didn't have a whole lot of musical knowledge or a lot of musical sense or the desire to play that way. So they just went up and, you know, and I think for them it was more important after the show than it was during the show. How many chicks you could pull. I mean, it became that kind of hedonistic culture, and that's what happened. You know, it became more of the Bon Jovi world than it became the Zeppelin world. And I'm not having a go at any of those people. You know, good for them. If they succeeded, fine. But you asked me the question, and it's just that the people that came before were a whole lot better and had a lot more musicality and really took chances and were adventuresome. And the people that came after that had no adventure left in them, and they were just rehashing old things, copying bands that had done good things. Oh, we want to be like Led Zeppelin. There was a band called Bullet Boys, and they sounded exactly like Led Zeppelin and fell flat on their faces after the first album because they weren't Led Zeppelin. You can't recreate something that good.
I remember Kingdom Come
Kingdom
coming
Come,
in, and I never
exactly.
thought it was a new Led Zeppelin record, and it was Kingdom Come.
Absolutely, and then they, you know, they really went after sounding exactly like Led Zeppelin did. You know, I mean, I just don't have any time for people who copy. Be adventurous, do things. You know, make new music, and if you can't do it, go be in a cover band if that's what you want to play. And you know, you see that they all fall by the wayside anyway. There's only can be one of a great band. You can't copy that. You know, nobody copies. No, there's not another Metallica. You know, there's only one. It's because of what they write and how James sounds, and you know how they play, and Lars' attitude. You just can't have any more.
But did you see those danger signs when you were in the middle of it in the late 80s? Did you sort of see around you that, because you played a lot of with a lot of these guys, and you see it, oh God, they're killing my music?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure did. I saw that. Yeah. I mean, I didn't really want to be associated with those people, but you get lumped into it because you're still considered to be that. You know, that's when, you know, I think a lot of different facets of the music heard it too. You have metal, and then suddenly you have death metal, black metal, this metal, that metal, crap metal, heavenly metal, you know, and suddenly no one knows what it is anymore. When I began and when I did the things that I did, luckily with the people I did it with, it was one form of music. It was hard rock music, and it wasn't pigeonholed. It wasn't put into a little compartment someplace. And I saw this happening suddenly. Well, what kind of band are you? We're a metal band. Oh, which kind? Oh. So suddenly you're not what you were. And yeah, I saw that happening. I saw it getting destroyed by bad musicians. And it did get destroyed by that. But you know, as I say again, grunge came along and, you know, made its mark and just came along with a big broom and swept it all away.
I think maybe we have to finish up. Just one last question.
No, it's no. We have
2 more to do
at this one.
Okay.
Well, how much time do we have left?
An hour before show.
All right, well, good.
Really
5 minutes or so?
We won't take
5 minutes.
Because I think, is that maybe why the big bands sort of still have a large attraction? I don't know if you saw the queue outside now.
I did, yeah.
So sort of the quality will survive, and all the hair bands will sort of just be.
It will, but you know, there are a lot of those acts too. You know, even the bands who were big who will play these places who aren't that good anymore. You know, a lot of them have singers that can't sing anymore. You know, they're out there faking what they're doing. I mean, for the longest time, Robert Plant had a hard time doing things, the same things that he did with Zeppelin. And a lot of that is due to rust. You know, I've had enough, and they don't do it for a while. You know, in my case, I keep doing it because I love to do it, and therefore you stay strong as a vocalist. But so many of them, I found, just lost it and couldn't do it anymore. And now a lot of bands are coming back again because they can. Not because they should, but they can. And those people who grew up with them, oh, I remember that. Oh, we used to have such a great time when we went to see Poison. Let's go see Poison again. Okay. And now Poison tours America all the time. I don't think they're very big in Europe. I think Europe...
They were pretty big for a period.
Weren't as big as they were in America. They were, to me, the prototypical band that was all about young girls. You know, that to me is that should be an emblem somewhere. You know, Poison killed everything. Honestly, those kind of bands did do that. I think. You know, I found the songs nonsensical, had no musical gist to them whatsoever. The subject matter had, you know, was all about partying and, you know, as Motley Crue said, girls, girls. I mean, I didn't grow up with music that way. I'm proud of music. I love music, and I worked hard at being a good musician. And those people worked hard at making an awful lot of money on the coattails of other people. That really, really bothered me a lot. And I saw that's what I saw happening. Again, they have the right to, you know, make all the money they can and have all the great fans they can too. But, you know, I have a right to an opinion. I especially have a right to an opinion. There were so many wonderful bands that came from England who never really made it and should have in a big way, and who were great. They did exciting new things, but no, it didn't work for them. But yet it works for these things that come out and, you know, and wear makeup and, you know, what's that all about? That's not metal? Sorry, it's just not. Well, I don't know if I forgot to answer the question. I just went off on a rant there.
No, but it's very interesting because, like I said, with MTV, sort of, then every band had to have an image. You have to make music video. It wasn't enough just to make good music anymore. You sort of have to have the music video, and you have to have... And people didn't really know how to make music videos. So when you look back at the mid-'80s music videos, there's a lot of really strange
Well,
things.
they were strange, but they were adventuresome again, you know, because people didn't know what to do. They did whatever they wanted to do. And some worked, some didn't. And then it became a formula, which is what you're suggesting, really. I mean, it became, okay, well, we've got to do the one with all the girls in it, and we've got, you know, it's got to be that. And that, you know, and either MTV said, well, we don't like that and we won't play it, or everyone just got sick of it. And I'm sure everyone just got sick of it because MTV was too busy raking in the money on whatever was to come next. But yeah, and you had to have a video, which is very true. And if you didn't have a video, you were doomed. You know, and I think all of us hated that. I think the ones who didn't grow up in the video era hated that, because then we had to become something that was competing with something we didn't like, and we did have to do that. But in the case of most of us, the songs were good enough that the video was okay. It didn't really kind of matter what you do. People wanted to hear the video. And then, of course, radio became a problem, and they weren't playing our kind of music anymore. And certainly in Europe, there hardly was any radio to play. I mean, things have gotten a lot better now that you have independent stations here and there who will play what people want to hear. In America, you had so many chances for it to be played everywhere, and the big radio stations got bigger and bigger. X radio and this radio and Z radio and Z rock, and they're all gone now too. So everything, you know, everything passes. Everything is a trend, and you know, that's just reality. And I'm not angry at it. That's just the way the world is. You know, I mean, again, good for them for doing what they've done and making their a lot of money from what I consider not to be very good material. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. But I do have the right to have an opinion, and my opinion is that's crap. I don't like it.
Just one last subject,
Sure.
because when I saw the list of all the bands playing Europe, I sort of got to thinking of Hearing Aid.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard, I have the VHS, you made sort of a documentary, I
Yes.
have it on tape, and
Right.
I saw them, and I think the song still works, it's still a very good
Yeah.
song. But what was it like gathering all these people? Did everybody care about the cause?
Yes.
Or everybody did?
Everybody really cared, yeah. They really, really, really cared. It was not a matter of doing it for, you know, for the notoriety's sake, for getting publicity. No, everybody really cared. They were wonderful. All of them were there for as long as they needed them. Rob Halford, for example. Rob said, well, when do you want me to be there and how many days do you want me to stay? I said, no, Rob, you only need to be there for, the time we do it. He said, well, if you want me to be there for 2 or 3 more days, I'll do it. He said, what a wonderful cause. I'll be there as long. And they all felt the same way. Everyone put themselves out, and they really, really believed in it, and they did a wonderful job. So it made my life easy. I mean, I produced the thing, and it was so easy. You got all this wonderful talent around you, and they all just worked so hard, but so easily, because they did care. It was really from the heart, all of it.
And I don't think I ever, before or later, heard a song where there's sort of like 6 or 7 guitar solos.
That's right.
Just half of the song are guitar solos. I think it's that you actually let them have that space in the song. I think that was...
Well, I thought it was important. After all, the music that we made was predicated upon guitars and vocals. Of course, bass and drums, of course, too. But the things that are out in front of everything, especially in those days, was the lead guitar player and the vocalist. So I was lucky enough to get great vocalists and great lead guitar players to play those parts. I thought at first that maybe it's going to be too long a song because there's so many guitar players and so many singers. The singing part wasn't difficult because it just broke it up as parts of the verses. But for the guitar players, they needed time to express themselves. So I really did think in the beginning, God, this song's going to be 25 minutes long. But his point was to please all the people who all those guitar players, they're fans. Oh, I just don't want to hear George Lynch play 2 notes. I don't want to hear Yngwie play 4 bars. I want to hear them all have a chance. So it was difficult to put together, but it was easy to do because they were all so good. We just sit there and go, okay, play, guys, and they would just play it. And I go, oh my God, that's brilliant. How am I going to fit that one in? So the hardest part really was editing everything, but it was a great project, and by people who really, really cared. They really did.
Because I read rumors that you were thinking about doing it again. Is that true?
Yeah.
Do you think it might happen?
Yeah, it will. Yeah, it'll happen. It's for my own charity, a charity called Children of the Night. Not mine specifically, but it's one that I've chosen to take part in for the last 10 years, and it's a great cause, and we want to do it much the same as we did with the other one. And there are a lot of musicians out there who want to do it. They've all said, "Yeah, I want to do it. Let me know when it's going to be." So it will happen. My problem is I haven't had the time to do it properly. I did then, but I don't at the moment. But
maybe in a couple of years we might.
Well, I hope it'll be sooner than that.
Yeah.
I hope it'll be next year sometime.
Great. I'm looking forward. Now they're impatient.
You have 2 of them after
the muscles. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Great meeting you.